A black cat tosses a small flower towards a girl. Clumsy Mary crushes it in her hand. It releases a thick, blue liquid that covers her palms. The liquid emits a dazzling glow, leaving 2 flower-shaped marks on Mary's hands, and the broom covered in blue liquid changes too. It's like the broom has been given magic, starting to grow thicker and stronger. After a few bounces, the broom starts to float. It seems the black cat knew this would happen. The cat jumps onto the broom, and they start zooming through the air, weaving effortlessly through the dense forest, dodging obstacles in their path. The magical broom shoots them into the sky like a rocket. As they break through the clouds, they release colorful, dazzling lights, like beautiful fireworks soaring above the clouds. Mary can't tell if this is a dream or reality, while the black cat calmly meows, as if mocking her for never having seen anything like this before. A few days ago, Mary arrived at Aunt Charlotte's house for a vacation. She's clumsy in everything she does. She'd drop cup when trying to hold it, accidentally break flower stems when helping the gardener, and make an even bigger mess when trying to clean up. A local boy named Peter teased Mary for her clumsiness and wild red hair. He said she was like a leaf-covered monkey. The gardener had a similar opinion, making Mary feel like she couldn't do anything right. She felt useless and went up the mountain to pass the time and enjoy the breeze. There, she met this mysterious black cat. She watched it walk through some bushes and turn into a gray cat. Amazed, Mary followed the gray cat towards the forest, only to see it transform back into a black cat again. Driven by curiosity, she followed the black cat deeper into the forbidden part of the forest, a place the villagers avoided. Amidst the lush greenery, she found an area filled with dried, yellow grass. She carefully walked through the dry vegetation and discovered that the gray and black cats were actually a married couple. Under the guidance of the cats, Mary found a strange plant. As it bloomed, it sucked the life force from all the plants around it. That's why it blossomed, while all the plants around it withered and died. The cats were scared of it and didn't dare to get close to it. Mary picked and took it back to ask the gardener, who told her it's called fly-by-night, also known as the witch's flower. It bloomed only once every 7 years. Legend had it that witches really wanted the flower because it had magic powers. Mary placed the witch's flower in a vase on her windowsill. That night, the witch's flowers in the mountains withered, and the area was filled with fog. Purple lightning flashed through the mist, looking like ghostly spirits. The next morning, Mary's Aunt Charlotte asked her to deliver some jam to Peter and gave her a note with his address. Reluctantly, Mary found the annoying boy. He laughed at her as soon as he saw her. She wondered why boys his age could be so irritating. The 2 cats she saw were Peter's pets, named Tib and Gib. While talking to Peter, Mary learned that both his cats, Tib and Gib, had gone missing. Mary guessed that the 2 cats must have gone to the forest where they last met. She ventured into the forest. Though she didn't find Gib, she did come across the black cat, Tib, who was carrying the witch's flower it found. Led by Tib, Mary arrived at an ancient tree, beneath which she discovered an old-looking broomstick with mysterious inscriptions on it. Tib, with the witch's flower in its mouth, wanted Mary's help to find its gray cat wife Gib. This led to the scene of them riding a broomstick and soaring through the sky. As they fly, they see a giant mushroom cloud ahead. A powerful storm sweeps them into a crack, and it's like they go through a time-space tunnel, arriving in a world with blue skies and clear water. There are white clouds, birds flying, and deer running around. It looks like a fairy tale land. After traveling for a bit, they come across a magical castle filled with a mix of nature and technology. Surprised by the scene, they accidentally end up in the castle's training ground, where they meet Mr. Squirrel, who is in charge of guarding the magical brooms. Mr. Squirrel thinks Mary is a new magic student and takes her to a magical school called Ender College. The school has been around for a long time and has only one rule. Anyone who sneaks into the magic school without permission gets punished by being turned into a strange creature. The principal then gives Mary a tour of the school. As Mary enters the gate, the water in the pond transforms into the appearance of an old woman, who is the principal of the school. Mary is scared, but she doesn't want to tell the principal that she accidentally arrived here, knowing that the school's rule is that people who trespass into the magic school without permission will be turned into a strange creature. So, as she reluctantly admits she's a new magic student, the principal's stern expression becomes friendly. After the water recedes, a heart-shaped building emerges from the pond, and that's the principal's office. The real-life principal comes out and takes Mary on a tour of the magical palace, where the scenery dazzles her. Magic flying carpets, airborne trams, and soap bubble transporters are unlike anything she's ever seen or heard of. Even standing in the center of the hall, clouds quickly form, and she can ride them to explore the school, just like in a dream. The school offers a variety of special courses, like magic brooms, magical aviation, and magical history. The school is strict about not only academic education but also physical education, and it has unique magical dining. The principal says that Mary doesn't need to go through all that learning, as she is already a high-ranking magician, and the flower petal mark in her palm is the best proof. This is the first time Mary has been praised, and she can't help but feel secretly delighted that she's not completely useless. Mary then follows the principal to the magical chemistry department, where the famous Dr. D is the chemistry teacher. He loves all kinds of inventions and magical experiments, and he can't stop talking about chemical equations and magical spells. The black cat keeps yawning. Then they go to the Advanced Magic Academy, where the seats appear empty, but the students are actually invisible. The principal claps his hands, and all the students holding magical orbs appear. Dr. D tosses a magic orb to Mary, asking her to try some magic. Mary holds the orb and murmurs, "Disappear." It seems that because of the flower petal marks on her palms, Mary suddenly gains incredible magical abilities. Even without knowing any spells, she starts to become gradually invisible and conjures up a tornado, sweeping numerous people into it. Mary doesn't know what's happening until she sees that Tib is in danger. Then she stops her magic. When the magic ends, the scene is a mess. The principal and Dr. D are sure that Mary is an exceptional talent because of her performance as well as her red hair, which is a distinguishing feature among the best witches. Mary falls into their sweet words, hastily saying she only used 40% of her power. This remark causes a stir, and everyone agrees with her magical potential. Mary is overjoyed and immersed in the pride of her accomplishment. However, she soon finds something wrong when she discovers live animals in the Academy's warehouse. Dr. D says they are excellent experimental materials. When the warehouse door opens, the black cat rushes in uncontrollably, as if there's something important inside, but Dr. D grabs it with a long tentacle. At the same time, various miserable cries come from the warehouse. Mary has a bad feeling but can't quite pinpoint what's wrong. The principal takes her away, preparing to get the enrollment application form for her in the office. While the principal is searching through files, Mary curiously heads to the second floor of the office. There are countless magical items here, but a painting on the wall catches Mary's attention, as it features the witch's flower. She gently touches the frame and, to her surprise, the magically responsive frame opens automatically, revealing a book inside. When she takes the book in her hands, the spell sealing the book's cover unlocks itself. Mary opens it and finds out it's a magic book containing all kinds of spells. Panicking, she tries to put the book back, but the frame won't open again. Just then, the principal comes upstairs. Not knowing what to do, Mary blurts out the truth, telling the principal she doesn't know any magic and that the powerful magic she displayed earlier was all because of the witch's flower. Upon hearing this, the principal's face darkens, as she has been desperately searching for that witch's flower. Realizing that Mary is holding something, she keeps asking what Mary is hiding in her hands. Feeling that something is wrong, Mary has no choice but to put the magic book in her bag and quickly grabs something to appease the principal. In her haste, she hands over a note from Aunt Charlotte with Peter's address on it. The principal mistakenly thinks this is the location of the witch's flower and lets Mary go. As Mary leaves, Tib watches the school, perhaps feeling unsatisfied that it hasn't found Gib. Halfway through her flight on the broom's magical energy seems to be fading, and it begins to plummet quickly. With its last bit of strength, the broom takes Mary to the edge of the forest. By this time, the flower petal marks on her palms have disappeared too. When she gets back home, Aunt Charlotte is already waiting for her. Despite having experienced an amazing journey and receiving praise from others, Mary still feels that there's no place like home. At bedtime, Mary reflects on everything that happened that day when she suddenly hears frantic knocking at the door. The gardener tells everyone that Peter has gone missing. At that moment, the principal's magical butterfly flies in, and as it disappears on the floor, the principal's figure appears in its place. She tells Mary that she has captured Peter, and if Mary wants to save him, she must hand over the witch's flower. Otherwise, the principal will turn Peter into a monster. Mary realizes she's the reason Peter is in trouble and must rescue her friend. She takes the witch's flower and slaps one flower onto her palm, making the petal marks appear. The broom senses the energy change and transforms again. This time, Mary is much more skilled. When Aunt Charlotte hears the noise and comes to the room, she finds the witch's flower on the carpet. Realizing something terrible is happening, she rushes out, but it's too late. All she can do is pray for Mary's safe return. Mary arrives at the magical castle and meets the principal. The principal casts a spell, making a nearby fish to take the witch's flower from Mary's hand. After getting the witch's flower, the principal and Dr. D go back on their word, not only refusing to release Peter but also locking Mary in a storage room. The storage room door is sealed with magic, making it nearly impossible for a regular person to leave. Inside, Mary encounters various monsters, like a peacock with mushrooms growing on it, a winged mouse, and a monkey with a turtle shell. Countless animals have been transformed by the principal and doctor's failed experiments. These creatures used to be cute little animals but are now unrecognizable. Suddenly, Mary hears Tibbs cry and sees it sadly howling in front of a strange creature. It turns out that this creature is actually the gray cat Gib, who has also been transformed and imprisoned here. At that moment, a cloaked figure tackles Mary, and when they take a closer look at each other, they recognize one another. Seeing Peter, Mary can't hold back her tears of guilt. The principal and Dr. D, now in possession of the witch's flower, plan to continue experimenting with transformation magic. This time, their subjects are children, and naturally, Mary and Peter are the perfect choices. Unaware of the danger they are in, Peter tries to escape the warehouse through a vent with his bare hands, but no matter how hard he tries, he can't get out. Regardless, they promise to go home together. Mary realizes she has a treasure in her bag, the magic book. She flips through it, searching for a spell that could undo all magic. This spell would not only unlock the door but also reverse the transformations. She presses her palm onto the book, and the next moment, her body starts to merge with the magic. The magical power turns the animals back to their original forms and breaks the door's enchantment. The animals flee the scene. When Dr. D arrives, he's furious to see the animals destroying the door. The animals jump into a magical pool, which envelopes them in large bubbles, allowing them to safely return to land. Mary and Peter follow the animals to a platform where they can't jump off like the animals can. The principal, noticing the animals escape, realizes something's wrong. She discovers that Mary has stolen the magic book. She quickly rushes to the scene where Mary and Peter are about to leave on the broom. The principal uses magic to create a giant black hand that grabs Peter's leg. Caught in a stalemate, Peter decides to let go of Mary's hand, willing to be a captive if it means Mary can escape. Dr. D and the others are ready to experiment on Peter. After leaving the castle, Mary's broom loses its magical power, causing her to land on a small magical island in the sea. The small island seems to recognize Mary and welcomes her into a little cabin at its center. Suddenly, an image of Aunt Charlotte appears in a mirror, calling out Mary's name. As it turns out, Aunt Charlotte was a witch at the school when she was younger, and this cabin used to be her home. Mary was guided here because she looks so much like her aunt. Aunt Charlotte tells Mary the principal and the doctor used to be kind-hearted magic teachers, but after accidentally discovering the witch's flower, they became obsessed with studying the highest level of transformation magic, using living test subjects, including humans. A large-scale experiment failed at that time, causing massive casualties at the school. Aunt Charlotte couldn't bear to see the principal and the doctor continue to harm living beings because of the witch's flower, so she risked her life to steal it. When it fell into the human world, the witch's flower devoured all of Aunt Charlotte's magic, turning her into an ordinary person. Unexpectedly, Mary inadvertently brought the witch's flower back to the school, reigniting the principal and the doctor's desire to study transformation magic. Through the magic mirror, Aunt Charlotte hands Mary the witch's flower that she had found on the carpet earlier. Mary decides to go back to the magic school to save Peter. Soon, the principal arrives to capture Mary. She releases black tentacles, taking her bag and the last witch's flower from Mary. Mary tries to take back her bag, but the principal releases more magic, entangling her with magical octopuses. The broom's energy is nearly depleted, and they fall into the magical forest. When Mary wakes up again, the flower petal mark on her palm has disappeared, and the magic broom is broken. Mary cries, feeling helpless for the first time in her young life. Surprisingly, her tears trigger the last bit of energy in the broom. The broom flies in an unknown direction, seemingly showing Mary the way. She decides never to give up as long as there is a glimmer of hope. The magical octopuses continue to monitor her. Suddenly, a giant eagle appears in the sky, picking up Mary and placing her on the back of a moose. Then come monkeys and alpacas. The rescued animals help Mary, and together, they pass through a massive ruin. The magical octopuses want to catch Mary, but the animals have already switched her out. A deer brings Mary to the foot of a giant tree that leads directly to the magic castle. Mary arrives outside the magical experiment area by going through a large tree. She sees many guards bustling about, and it looks like the transformation experiment is about to begin. Worried about how to enter the experiment area, Gib and Tib appear. They lead Mary through a secret passage and successfully enter the magical experiment area, where Peter is in an experiment chamber. As the witch's flower liquid pours onto Peter, it's too late for Mary to stop it. The principal doesn't pay much attention to Mary as the powerful magic causes an explosion on Peter, breaking the experiment chamber. The witch's flower liquid begins to corrode the chamber, and they realize that while people can be controlled, the flower cannot. The witch's flower starts to destroy the experiment area, and soon, a raging fire surrounds them. The flower absorbs energy and grows more powerful. If not controlled, the entire magical world will be destroyed. Finally, the principal decides to try to remove the magic, but the witch's flower devours her magic as well. Mary bravely picks up the magic book and rushes into the fire, refusing to give up until the last moment. The witch's flower transforms into various shapes, eventually becoming a magical monster. Mary is reminded to use the magic book, intending to remove all magic as she did with the animals. Mary gathers her courage to take the last witch's flower, which will give her the power to use the spells in the book to eliminate all magic. However, she's too weak to break the glass containing the witch's flower. As the monster is about to grab Mary, Peter, who shares magic power with the monster, wakes up and protects her, blocking the monster's actions. Mary realizes that Peter, who shares magic power with the monster, can use the magic book. She turns the book to the page that removes magic, and Peter stretches his hand toward Mary. She grabs his hand and places it on the magic book. The spell takes effect, and a powerful dispelling curse eliminates the fire like a whirlwind. All the magic around them disappears, the monster vanishes, and Peter returns to normal. The magical laboratory is destroyed, and plants quickly cover the area. The principal and the doctor, who have lost their magic powers, learn their lesson and no longer wish to study such dangerous magic. On their way back, Peter finds a witch's flower on Mary's head. She looks at it, unenchanted, and throws it into the sky. Mary knows that the world doesn't need magic. Ordinary courage and a positive attitude can create a better world without it. Perhaps the friendship flower with Peter and the family love flower with Charlotte are more beautiful than the witch's flower. Mary is a brave and interesting character. Throughout her adventures with the witch's flower, she learns important lessons about being responsible, caring about others, and not chasing after power without knowing the risks involved. The witch's flower is a special symbol in the story because it shows both the exciting and the dangerous sides of magic. This magical flower can change lives, but it can also cause a lot of trouble. It teaches us that power can be harmful if it's not used carefully. I really like this story. Its timeless themes of friendship, family, and the importance of inner strength make it a memorable and enchanting story. What do you think about the story? Subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.